All right, today we're going to go ahead and we're going to be talking about surface area of prisms. We're going to be focusing today on actually rectangular prisms. So we're going to go ahead and begin with some definitions. The first is going to be that the surface area of a solid is the sum of the areas of all of its faces. So again, remember that this is a face, this is a face, this is a face. So I would find out what's the area of this rectangle, what's the area of this rectangle, and so on. And then I would add all of those together, and that would give me the actual surface area of this entire box. Because surface area is telling me how much, for instance, cardboard, because this is cardboard, how much would I need to make this pencil box? And then going on, it would be that a prism is a two-dimensional representation of a solid. So this would be my prism, but it would be like right here, if I was to draw like this representation, to draw what would my box look like. You can use a net to help you find the surface area. And down below, this would be my example of a net, as if I took this box and I unfolded it to be flat, this would be my net. Surface area is measured in squared units. Okay, so if we're going to be finding the surface area of this rectangular prism, what we're going to go ahead and do, and we're going to actually, it gives us some of the units that actually wrote it out for us, but we're going to finish it up so that we have all of the sides, so that we can easily find the area of each of these rectangles. So starting with this one, this would be my 7 and my 3. So if this is 7, that means that this line is 7, this line is 7, this line is 7, this line is 7. And again, if this is 4 right here, then that means this has to be 4, this has to be 4, this has to be 4. And then if this line here is 3, this one would be 3, this is 3, this is 3, if this is 4, this is 4. Now the tricky one is, what is this line right here? Now, what you're really going to have to do is go back. So we know that this represents these ends right here. So I'm going to go ahead and look again at my rectangle and go, okay, this is my 4. Oh, and then it goes up 3. So this actually, on the side, is 3. And that would be the same on this flap here. This would be 3. Now I can find the area of each of these rectangles and then be able to find the surface area of what this prism is. So going ahead and starting with the top, I'll use kind of like a highlighter, is here would be the top right here. Oh, and that's one of my rectangles. So I look at the top and I can just say, this is going to be my top, this part right here. Okay, let's say that's my top. Okay, so here's my top. I could say, okay, I would do 7 times 3, which would be 21. Okay, and then I would say my bottom, here's my bottom. Okay, and technically this should be the 7 times 4, so actually this should have been, actually here, sorry. So 7 times 4 actually would have been 28. Only because if you see on my top, if this is 7 times 4, then this would be 7 times 4. So this actually would be 28, and then my bottom could be this one right here, which is 7 times 4, which is going to be 28. Okay, now when we go into the front and the back, that if this leg right here is 3, then this one would have to be 3, this one would have to be 3. Now when I'm doing the front, which is where I made a mistake in the beginning, sorry for that, is I go right here, this is my front, it'd actually be the 7 times 3, which would be this part right here, which is where I made a mistake, it would be the 7 times the 3. So now when I do the front, it would be 7 times 3 is 21, and the back is going to be the same exact size, which would be right here, 7 times 3. When I do my back, 7 times 3 is 21. If you need a multiplication chart, please grab one. So I have 28, 28, sorry, 28, 28, 21, 21. And then if I was going to do my sides right here, let me get a green. I know a lot of you guys are way better at highlighting these things than I am. Okay, so here would be my sides. These are going to be my flaps right here. Okay, and I would just look, and again, this is going to be my base times my height, or some of you guys know it's like the length times width, but we're going to refer to everything as base times height, just because that relates better to when we get into triangles. So when I do my 4 times my 3, 4 times 3 is 12. And sometimes what I really do, instead of having a chart here, a lot of times I just put it in the middle of the square. So I will say, okay, 4 times 3 is 12, and I put it in here, go 7 times 4 is 28, 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 3 is 21. And I go, oh, 4 times 3 is 12. So a lot of times this is kind of how I do it, instead of having this chart here and going, okay, what was my top? What was the bottom? That way I know I did all of the rectangles because I put what the area is in the middle. So that to me seems usually a lot easier for me, so you guys can do that as well. But if I was to just kind of go with this chart, again, my second side here is 12. Then what I do is you have to add all of these together, because this is just how much, let's say, cardboard I need to make this part of the box. Okay, and this is just how much cardboard I need to make the top of the box. But I need to know how much cardboard do I need to make the entire box. So I need to add all of these together. So I'm going to do 12 plus, I'm just going to go top to bottom. So 12 plus 21 plus 28 plus 21 plus 28 plus 12. Okay, and this is just going to take a little bit of time just to kind of add them one at a time. So I might do 12 plus 21 would be 33. Okay, and then I can bring all this down. Plus 28 plus 21 plus 28 plus 12. I'm kind of doing this in my head. So let's say 33 plus 28, and I can show you guys this one. So 33 plus 28. Remember, when I add, I go right to left. 3 plus 8 is 11. I have to carry 1, bring down a 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 2 more is 6. So this is 61. Then bring everything down. Plus 21, plus 28, plus 12. 61 plus 21. I would do 1 plus 1 is 2. 6 plus 2 is 8. So that gives me 82. Okay, plus 28 plus 12. I can do this one as well. This one I will have to carry, so I'll show you over here just so you can practice making sure that you're carrying those numbers over. So I do 2 plus 8 is 10. 1 over here, 0 down. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 2 more is 11. This would be 110 plus 12 is 122. So, and then again, when we go back here, it says that surface area is in squared units. And this is, we're referring, the units here are inches. So I need to say that the answer is 122 inches squared. Okay. And here's a formula that you can use as well, because any box, it's going to have, you're going to have 2, and this is length times width times height, and then width times height. Only because, and then you multiply it by 2, just because if you realize, if you look at this box, my top and my bottom are the exact same size. My sides are the exact same size. And then the front of the box and the back of the box are the exact same size. So I can just actually find the area of this, find the area of this, and then find the area of the side and multiply it by 2. So you could also use that formula if you wanted. So again, when you're looking at this, it says you would do area is 2 times length times width. So I would do here is my length, 7, times my width would be 4. So I would do 7 times 4, plus my length times my height. I would do 7 times 3. Remember, height is how tall you are. So this is my guy standing up, so 3 would be my height. So it would be 7 times 3 plus, I'm going to kind of put these in parentheses, plus my width, my 4 times my height, which is 3 again. So 4 times 3. And I would solve this out as 2 is going to be 28 plus 21, because 7 times 3 is 21, 7 times 4 is 28, plus 12. Okay, I would add these together. I'm going to kind of do this the cheating way. I'm going to do 28 plus 12 is actually 40, plus 21 is 61. And then I would times that by 2, and we do 61 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 6 is 12. So that would be 122 inches squared. So we get the same answer. Okay. So again, what you're doing is you would basically just be finding the area of the top. Let's say you find the area of the front part, and you find the area of one of the sides. Well, you would times it by 2, because look, I have 2 of these sides. I have 2 exactly the same size. My top and my bottom are exactly the same side. My front and my back are the exact same side. So I really could just find the area of one of these, one of these, one of these, add these three together, and then multiply it by 2, and I would get the same answer. So it's just a never method of being able to find it. And then finally, what you're going to go ahead and do is I want you to go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to find the area of this prism. Okay, I know it's a little bit difficult. It has a 13.4 for this length right here. But I want you to go ahead and do it. You need to have some of that practice with your decimals. You can go back into your notes on how to multiply decimals to help you. But go ahead and find the area, whatever you feel comfortable. You can use the formula, or you can go ahead and make a net